Welcome to Master Capstone presentation by Adam Boujikian. And Adam, please introduce yourself and share with us and the members of the camp what you'll be talking to us about
Yeah.
today.
So I'm Adam Boujikian, and I started beekeeping around 2017 for Henry's Bullfrog Bees. Um, my wife and I, I grew up in an agriculture background. My family. Let me see if I can go to the next one. Oh, here we go. So my wife and I, we do the bees. We kind of started, we traded our quad actually for our first 8 hives. And we traded with my boss Henry, and then we basically just kind of wanted to see if we could do it on our own. If we could take some hives, split them, get them through winter, and see what would happen if we could keep some bees on our own. After we were able to do that, we kind of just kept growing from there. Once we saw them, in the almonds, and realized we could make a little bit of money, and we're pretty decent at keeping bees. We just kind of kept putting more money back into it, anything we made from the business, and kept working our regular jobs too at the same time to just try to make ends meet and start a business at the same time. So what we do is pollination, honey, queens. We produce nucleus colonies, and I really enjoy agriculture. So I love being outside. I like working with my hands. We do 10, 12-hour days, 15-hour days, and it still seems like a regular day, you know. So we kind of try to diversify how we make our money, and because with bees, a lot of people, you end up making most of your money in pollination. Majority of it comes from almond pollination. And then we do, the honey, it kind of gets us through December. It really is, it helps us in the off season when there's no pollination money coming in. Yeah, because it's pretty difficult. You get all your money pretty much at once, and then you have to plan for an entire year. Even accidents or whatever, you might get flat tires or just random things that happen. So yeah, Hannah started helping me around 2019, because around 2019, we were pushing over 100 hives, and I was still working like 10, 12-hour days for my original company. So after work, I would go out and basically work bees until sundown. So Hannah started coming out with me after work, and we could do more hives at once. Basically, that was a big turnaround for us, because once I sometimes I would have to go to a yard and work 50 hives, and then the sunset it would be sundown, and then I had to come back the next day and work the other 50 hives. And then so once I'd call her after work and be like, hey, come help really quick. And yeah, ever since then, we've just been trying to grow to a point where it could hire us, basically, to where it was making enough money to run the business and afford to pay ourselves, which is this year is hopefully that year. We've had to buy a ton of equipment, which always costs a lot of money. Like, this was our first truck that we bought, which that still costed me almost 10 grand. And it was it's 22 years old, Yeah, it was crazy. Just like all the amount of, and then, boxes, like just to grow 100 hives costs you about $10,000, $11,000. Just for the equipment, that's not even your feed or anything. So yeah, this whole time we've just been, working a ton, and trying to find good locations. That's been a huge role. we were renting equipment for a long time. Like I would rent a nicer truck and go take the bees down to San Diego, where they would make honey, and that really helps you grow. Because if you don't, if you don't have to supplement proteins, carbohydrates, things like that, they just grow so much faster and healthier. In San Diego, we were having boxes that were like 6-7 stories tall with honey. And then yeah, every year basically, this will be the first year we'll be paying ourselves. So 3 years in, and we can finally take some money out and still have money to run the business, because we finally bought a new truck, a new Ford. That's it was worth a lot of money and it cost us a lot of money, but we're able to go almost anywhere. We moved bees to San Diego. Like one of our yards, you can see Tecate, Mexico, when you're standing in the yard. And then we go all the way up north, like near Alturas, Modoc. And then we bought a forklift, so we're getting the forklift on the first of the month. And so then right on the 1st and 2nd, we're going to be moving our bees into almonds. We'll be putting about 340 in this year, down near Stockton area. And then, after that, we actually do some cherry pollination too in Brentwood. So we kind of actually take splits off of the bees in the almonds, because cherries, they just need a smaller hive. They pay a little bit less and they'll take a 3-frame split basically. But yeah, I like to consider ourselves a sustainable business, because other than 1 year, 1 year we had about 24 hives and we bought 40 just to try to grow a little bit quicker. But ever since then, we really only buy, empty equipment. We'll buy boxes, frames, pallets, lids, and then we make all our own splits. We make nucleus colonies to rear our own queens. So we do all the grafting. All year I'm looking at my hives, selecting my breeders. I have multiple yards that I separate different characteristics for different breeders. And I usually like wax production and brood production, because for me, it always seems like bees do better on clean wax, new wax, like no more than 3 to 4 years old. I like 3 years old. So I like to put old wax and nukes, sell off the nukes, and then have them drawing out new wax every year, because the bees just seem to be bigger and healthier. And then moving, we kind of just follow pollination. We follow flowers. I keep an eye on the rain all the time. There's some areas I won't, I'll go 1 year, I won't go next year if it doesn't get the rain. So yeah, basically we kind of go on a little circuit. We'll go to almonds, and then we'll go into cherries. We'll take some to oranges. From oranges, we go down south to Southern California, San Diego area. And then after San Diego, we go all the way up north to Modoc area, where there's rabbit rush blooming, and that kind of ends out the year honey wise. And we don't pull that honey, we just leave it on the bees for winter. And then from Alturas, Modoc area, I actually move everything to the California coast. So winter out, from December until almonds, January, I'll move them all back into the valley. And the main way we do that is just trading honey for locations. I just drive around, talk to people, and I find areas with flowers. There's a couple websites that I use that the state is like mapped out what flowers grow where and in what densities. And so I look up honey producing flowers on those websites, and then go drive around that area, and just try to find really good locations for them. And then, so diversifying our income, that's that started for us mostly like the last year or so. Like you can see the candles in the background. We we did a lot of candles this year, which was our first year doing candles, and we did like craft fairs, farmers markets. Because December for me at work slowed down like crazy. We just didn't. It was rainy, so you can't really go work, and so we did a few farmers markets and sold some honey online. And that kind of got us through the wintertime. We also do some consulting too. So I have a couple like almond growers that have a few hundred hives, and so every month I'll work their bees for them and bill them out, the expenses and then hours, everything like that. And so that brings in a decent amount of income all year as well. And then we try to find any way we can to stay afloat really and keep growing. This year our plan is to we're going to expand a little bit, but basically we have over the years we've bought enough equipment to run around 500 hives, 600 hives, and so I'm planning just to fill all the equipment I have, and then my wife Hannah and I were expecting a baby in May, so our plan is to make a lot of nucleus colonies, sell nukes, and then we have money from pollination, from cherries, almonds, and then honey. And if we can sell enough nukes, we could definitely make enough money to cover both of our salaries for a year, and should be able to be fully employed by ourselves, which that's always been the goal. And that's why it's been, like you could, with bees, you could say, okay, I only want to run 100 hives, and you could make money off 100 hives. It depends how you want to do it. For us, I knew that I wanted to work really hard for 2 or 3 years and get to the point where it could employ me, and then I could start working 8 hours again. And so now, I can, what I'm looking at is I could probably go work about 100 hives a day. That takes me like 5-6 hours a day, and then I can come home and spend time with my family, and we can be comfortable running our bees. We like doing a lot of education too. Like today, actually, Hannah's off at noon, so we're gonna go out, and we have a friend up in Clear Lake that she buys nukes from us every year, and once a month I go out there and help her with her bees, and we kind of go through them, feed them, everything like that, put patties. So we do a few mentorships. I like, I'm always online. I'm always on Instagram, Facebook, always talking about bees. It's so I get a lot of questions. I love answering questions, or I could talk all day, and yeah, we really want to teach our children about bees. This is Boujikian family apiary. It's definitely family orientated. I grew up on a family farm, so it's exactly what we want to do, is incorporate our family into our company. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions or anything.
Thank you, and congratulations to you and Hannah on your expanding family and business.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate the presentation, Adam. Thank you.